My mother-in-law is implying that my daughter isn't my husband's because she believes there's no way her son's child could look like that. But she started crying right after I slapped her face. For context, my husband is white, and I am mixed. My mom is Puerto Rican, and my dad is white. My mom has very dark skin, and my dad is pretty fair. I'm pretty white passing, which for those who don't know means you can't tell that I am Latina unless I tell you. A running family joke is that melanin skips a generation because my maternal grandpa is also very fair, but my maternal great-grandma is very brown. With that out of the way, I'll get into my situation. I have been with my husband for 7 years and married for 5. We have a 3-year-old little girl who is the light of my life. When she was born, she had a head full of dark brown curls, dark brown eyes, and a fairly olive complexion. She looks like me when I get tan. You can tell she's part Latino. Despite knowing all this, my MIL has gotten it into her head that my daughter isn't my husband. She's been telling anyone who will listen that I must have had an affair because there's no way her son's child could be that color. Yeah, how nice. My mother-in-law has always been standoffish with me. She never made a big effort to get to know me and was always more polite than anything else. Mael has made some offhanded comments before about Latinos, but their husband would brush them off because she's from another time. I wanted to write off her behavior as just her not being educated enough. I realize now that was my mistake because it gave her the okay to keep going. When my husband and I heard from SEL that Meal was saying this, we invited her over to talk about this. I was really hoping we'd be able to fix this. However, what happened was my mother-in-law going on a rant for like 15 minutes. It consisted of her outing herself as a racist, saying she knew girls like me couldn't control themselves, that she knew from the start what would happen. The nerve I had to pass my daughter off as her, also some very colorful slurs. My husband and I were frozen in shock because she hadn't even stepped into the house and was just screeching on our doorstep. What snapped me out of it was when she started to insult my mom, saying she probably did the same to my dad. I don't know what came over me next. I've never hit someone before, but I ended up smacking her so hard that her glasses fell off. That's what got my husband to start talking, or rather yelling at his mother and me for acting this way, while Miles started to wail. Yes, I shouldn't have hit her, I know. That's wrong. But hearing him imply I was in the wrong the same way Mill was made me more angry. I told him he was just as much a racist as his mom if he was trying to make me out to be as bad as her. I got my keys from inside the house while he was trying to calm his mom down and left. I drove to a hotel and spent the night there. Now it's the afternoon and I haven't left the hotel room since checking in. My husband and several other friends and family have been trying to reach me. I only replied to my SIL to tell her I was safe at a hotel and asked her to not tell my husband what hotel I was at. Guilt is starting to sink in and I question everything. Update. I spent quite a bit reflecting and got an emergency meeting with my therapist this morning. We got home around 7 after we had dinner. My husband was waiting and I told him we'd talk after kiddo went to bed. When she was for certain asleep, we sat and had a long conversation. Not just about the fight and his mother, but also race and culture. I saw how my family was treated based on skin color, and while my husband understands racism, he admitted to never really grasping the complexities, especially colorism. He apologized to me for not standing up for me before and then acknowledged he didn't want to think of his mother in a racist light. I also apologized for hitting her because in the end, no, it didn't help us. He did forgive me and said if it wasn't his mom saying it, he'd probably slap them too. We will be going to a marriage counselor, we decided, hoping to find one that specializes in interracial marriage. Our daughter is going to face challenges in the future because of her race. It's sad to say, but unfortunately, racism is still alive, and we want to know how to protect her and uplift her, so she does not feel ashamed of her heritage. We've decided to go NC with her and any people who try to bridge communication between us and her. She will have no contact with my daughter unless it's years down the road, and she shows significant changes in her behavior. My husband will drive to her house tomorrow to inform her of our decision. I'd consider a paternity test and DNA test, but only if MIL pays. I don't want to entertain this on my own dime. We've also decided not to make any public post regarding this. If people want to believe her story, that is on them, not us. My husband knows our baby is his. The irony is that she looks more like him than me. Her curls are even from him. I am sad my daughter won't have a grandmother in the States, but it's more reason for us to plan trips to PR.